Please help me welcome Shelley Goldbeck.
My position in this program was influenced by the fact that they didn't want to intimidate the contestants, and I have to say, I'm the one who's intimidated. Wasn't that a wonderful round? And they completely changed my speech because I was so inspired. So I'll tell you how that happened. When Cheryl challenged me to deliver a speech about leading from the heart, I had no idea how many layers there were to this onion. And as I peeled each one away through conversations with Cheryl, and Anthony, and many others, I realized that the only way I could do justice to this topic is to boil it down to 3 most important points. Typical Toastmaster speech. Imagine that. Those 3 points are this. What is heartfelt leadership? A tool that you can use so that you can do it too. And 3, how to practice it. The first one is, what is heartfelt leadership? Well, you already know the answer. Kelly told us. We are all connected. We are all the same. In fact, most major religions have that principle as part of their teaching. If that's true, if we are all connected, how can we do anything but lead from our hearts? It's the only way. In my life, I've learned to say before any meeting, let me be a blessing to these people. And what that does is it takes the responsibility for what I say completely out of my hands. My job is to show up and be ready. A tool that you can use. The most important tool that you have for leading from the heart is kindness. And if you need a reason beyond the obvious, let me tell you about a survey that was done a few years ago on kindness. They measured the physiological effects of kindness, things like your levels of cortisol, your heart rate, your resting pulse. And what they found is that when someone receives an act of kindness, they achieve all of those physiological benefits. They found that the person committing the act of kindness also achieves those physiological benefits. But what I found even more amazing is that even those witnessing the act of kindness achieve those physiological benefits. Let me tell you about an experience that I had about kindness. I wear many hats. One of them is a cowboy hat. I'm a cowboy poet and entertainer. And at a cowboy poetry gathering, there will be 3 or 4 entertainers on stage, and one of them is assigned to be the MC. About a month ago, on the Sunday afternoon, I was the MC for the afternoon session. And as I looked over the roster, I noticed there was a man named Jess on there. Jess was a 20-year musician, a very talented man, but he had the reputation of bungling his performances at the festival because he hadn't had any sleep. So, as I always do when I introduce someone, I asked Jess how he wanted to be introduced. And he said, introduce me as the most tired man at the festival. I haven't slept in 6 days. And I said, tell me about that. Has this happened to you before? He said, no, it's never happened. And I'm racking my brains trying to figure out what's wrong. And at that moment, these words came to me. Jess, what if we decided that you've had enough sleep? That you can't sleep because you don't need any more sleep. You've got enough. He said, yes, I think I can do that. And then I said, and do you have any songs that you can do in your sleep? And he said, yes. I said, now's not the time to be trying out new material. So I helped him write his set, and I went out and I introduced him as the most tired man at the festival. But we've decided he's had enough sleep. And ladies and gentlemen, I witnessed a miracle. Jess's performance was flawless. It was flawless, and the audience could feel the love and the energy that came from that man, and I was vibrating with those physiological benefits. It's amazing. Now, the third point I want to discuss is how do we practice heartfelt leadership? It's not necessarily easy, and many of us choose not to do it because the path isn't easy. But I suggest you ask yourself just this one question. How can I serve? Volunteering has given me opportunities to practice leading with my heart. Toastmasters is a great place to do that. I don't know if you noticed, but I saw an awful lot of hugging in this room this morning. A lot. And that's what Toastmasters does. As you travel along, ask yourself these questions. How can I lessen the burden of my fellow traveler? What words will I choose? What are the motivations for my actions? Am I being kind? If I peel this onion, I risk shedding a few tears. But I wouldn't dream of eating most dishes without the flavor and nutrition of the onion. And you can't really lead